Hi again, everybody. Welcome to In the Crease, our look inside the women's lacrosse program here at Furman. I am Dan Scott, voice of the Paladins. Kirkland Lewis is the head coach of the women's lacrosse program. Kind of get you caught up since they were on the road last week and we didn't get to do one of these. And take a look at what's coming up, especially Den's Day tomorrow. But how you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been, long road trips in a row, but now we just have 2 more regular season games to wrap up the season, and then we're hopefully on to postseason play.
Isn't it amazing how quickly a regular season goes by?
Yes. It's actually astonishing how quick we're preparing for, all the way into late April, and then suddenly it is late April.
Yeah, I mean, all that work that you started doing in the summer
Right.
and the fall
Yep.
when the girls got to campus and putting together the makeup of the team and developing chemistry and all the weight room work and
Yes.
training and everything else. And now here we are in the precipice of the postseason.
Right, yeah. Now is where, you either have it or you don't.
Typical coach, right? As mentioned, we did not get a chance to do this last week because you were on the road at Virginia Tech as you continue to challenge this program, right?
Yeah, it was. Tech is a really great opponent for us because they are an ACC team. So just, playing in a huge conference, they play a lot of tough opponents. And for us, it was a little different having them in the middle of conference play. But it really was. I felt really good walking away from that game just because we fought to come back in that. Only losing to an ACC team by 5-6 goals, I think we felt pretty confident about that.
Was putting that particular game at that place in the schedule by design? Because normally games like that would be more in the preseason,
Right?
And your non-conference midweeks would be against opponents more of your own level, so to
Right,
speak.
yeah.
Was that by design?
It was not. We originally had our game played for, planned for early February, early March, and then date conflicts happened, and luckily we were able to just keep trying to find dates later in the season, and with the Big South, we have a bye, so it ended up being on that Monday.
So as it worked out, a 6-goal loss on the road, but do you think it was an advantage to play the game when you did, or does it really matter?
Yeah, I think it was a huge advantage because it really just challenged us again. We came right off of Mercer after that, and then I've been looking at our conference. There's no easy games left, so to really challenge ourselves, to rise to the occasion in that Virginia Tech game, and then going into a tough game against Gardner-Webb, and I think it was good for us to kind of just mentally change gears a little bit to try to really compete.
So since the last time that we've been able to do one of these, you've gone 2-2 in your last 4, with wins over Radford and Gardner-Webb, which we're going to talk about in a moment. Lost to Mercer, lost to Virginia Tech. So you're 8-7 overall. You're 5-2 in the Big South. And again, for our fans out there, how does the postseason work for Big South? How many teams make the tournament?
4 teams make the tournament.
Out of
there's 9 of us.
9, okay.
Yeah, 9 in the conference. So right now, we just have to do our job to finish out to hopefully get the 3rd seed. But other teams are still, I think for Campbell and High Point, they still have each other to play all at the end. So that could change things a little bit, but really not so much for us. We're hoping to get the 3rd seed.
So long as you take care of business, you're in.
Exactly, yes. Yeah.
And it's nice to have your postseason fate in your own hands and not have to rely on somebody else.
Yes, and I think last year it was a little bit of this person has to lose in order for us to get here. So I think it's a little bit more, we can see it a little bit more clear this time around, which is really, really nice. So it was good that we were able to handle business in the beginning of the year, and having that win over High Point was huge. So that really helped us kind of solidify ourselves.
Well, let's talk about the 22-16 win over Gardner-Webb. Yeah, from a game standpoint, but it was your final regular season home match, and it was senior day, which is always it's always a good day, but it's also an emotionally draining day sometimes for coaches and for players. How was that day for you?
It was just, I think, very exciting. I just really love and appreciate the senior class so much because they really went through the gauntlet and put Furman Lacrosse, but the team really above themselves to make sure they left it in a better place before they got here. And so it was just kind of, I think, for all of us settling in that this is their final run all the way through and our last home game. So it was exciting to celebrate them, but a little bit of like, I at least feel like, well, I don't want you guys to really leave yet.
Yeah.
So,
and you know the other side of this is that you still got 2 more years in this program before you'll be able to say that you've had a 4-year class
correct.
of your own
Yes.
come through. So by and large, this group of seniors, and from the photo, did I see 6
Yes.
in there?
Yep.
6 of them who decided with the coaching change and everything that took place last year to stick with this program, to stay with you. And while you didn't recruit them, this has got to be a special group for you because they decided to hang around.
Yes, and that's exactly it. And they made that commitment before I was even in the picture, which I think really just speaks a lot for who they are and
So it
what
might
they
have
care
been
about.
it might have been in spite of you rather than because of you, right?
They're like, we're staying. But yeah, and then I think just when I came in, they were juniors and really were a talented class. And to watch them grow into leaders in their senior year has been the piece that I've just really appreciated so much that I didn't really have too much time with the seniors last year. And so this year I really feel connected to them. And, I think this one, it just felt a little heavier, I think, this time around. So, but yeah.
How is the overall health of your program from a recruiting numbers talent standpoint? Because again, I know that when you came in a year ago, because of the attrition, when you came in late in the process, that the roster wasn't where it needed to be,
Right.
just plain numbers wise.
Yeah.
Where are you now compared to where you think you need to be at full strength?
Right now in this season, we still are at least 10 to 12 kids short of a normal sized roster. So we really have big recruiting classes coming in the next 2 years. But I think what really helps us this year is that we had that sophomore group that were freshmen last year. They gained a ton of game experience. So really they're kind of well-oiled machines and just what the expectations are, how hard the season is, balancing academics. So they've really kind of just grown into their own this year. And then just the depth of talent that we have has really, I think, kind of evened out that we don't have a ton of legs, but we do have, our girls are so talented, and that, it speaks volumes when you watch us play.
So depth right now is still the piece of the puzzle that's missing.
Correct, yes. And that, that on a hot day in Macon when it's, 85 degrees, that's where, it really is just up to us making sure we handle things in the first half and then try to just play smart for the second half, because you just get so gassed going into the second half, and there's no one there to relieve you. Like, it's just you and your teammates and just trying to, support each other.
Playing time is not an issue now. When you get that kind
Right.
of depth, then as a coaching staff, you have to worry about playing time, right?
Yes. Yeah, that'll be a brand new experience.
So enjoy to a certain extent. Enjoy this while you've got it.
I definitely don't take it for granted. I'm like, well, everyone knows that they've got a pretty high opportunity of playing. But yeah, it's definitely a unique situation, and I think coming from Division III, teams across the country play with our size roster, and so I knew it could be done, which I think really kind of helped our team not feel so nervous going into it. For the second season now with low numbers, but it's just kind of our norm now, so play through it.
So you've got 2 games remaining in the regular season, both on the road at Wofford and at PC.
Yes.
Coming up this week, Wednesday, Saturday.
Wednesday, Saturday.
And again, we're talking about clinching a conference playoff berth and trying to improve your seeding. So just talk about these 2 games coming up.
Yeah, I think Wofford is going to be just for us defensively. Our last 2 games, we haven't been playing as strong as we were, I think, weeks previous. And so Wofford, I think, will be challenging just because they're a little bit more dynamic in what they can do. So our defense will really have to step up and go back to the things that made them successful in our, our Longwood games and other games like that. So I think that'll be a true challenge for us. But offensively, I think we have individuals that have shown their potential throughout the season. It's a matter of putting it all together. But I think right now, consistently, our draw team is really consistent, and so I feel confident that that'll really help us have a lot more possession time. And then Presbyterian, I think this is probably one of their best seasons that they've had. I think they might be right under us in rankings. So it's just a matter of not letting a team that maybe has nothing to lose and is really playing to like try to just mix things up take our opportunity away. We have to be very, very focused going into these last two games and not underestimate anybody, but also making sure that we're playing to our best potential so that we feel most confident going into Big South tournament.
You know, all the joking about playing time for everybody aside, when depth is an issue, when you come towards the end of a long season, are you starting to see some fatigue in the legs of your ladies, and can you, and I hate this term, in the NBA it's become kind of in vogue now,
right?
And I hate the term load management, but is that something you think about, trying to find ways, whether it's during the week, practice, whatever it is, to give your players a little extra rest?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of really a week-to-week balance, making sure that we are checking in with our captain, kind of just saying like, hey, how the body's doing. But we really only end up practicing 2 times a week in their walkthroughs. We spend a lot more time watching film and just making sure we're understanding things. But our lifts have turned into like recovery sessions. So there is a lot of thought put into making sure that we can actually sustain playing 2 games a week.
And that's where you have to rely on strength and conditioning coaches and
exactly.
input with the coaching staff and coming up with a plan
yes.
that works for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. We typically in preseason we're lifting for an hour, and now we're in and out in 30 minutes, and it's just all recovery, stretching, bands, and just, you know, maybe a little bit of lightweight, but honestly, it's just about maintaining right now for us.
And then, oh, by the way, schoolwork.
Oh, yeah,
on
that.
top of that.
I mean, Furman schoolwork, super light, especially during finals coming up. So yeah, it's all balanced.
Yeah, the mental fatigue as well as the physical fatigue.
Exactly.
Kirkland Lewis with us. We are in the Crease talking Furman women's lacrosse. We're doing this as we do on Mondays. It'll drop late Monday morning. So tomorrow, April the 25th, is Dens Day.
Yes.
And programs all across this campus are going to be asking donors to invest in the program. And as we saw last year especially, coming up with unique challenges and things they're doing on social media and that type of thing. So what's Dens Day going to look like tomorrow for your program?
For us, we really just want to showcase our players and our program and kind of give behind the scenes of just things that make our program unique, so that anybody that feels that they want to donate to our program can understand what it goes to and the kind of players that it affects. And then also, I think, to the coaching staff, because we're all new. Last year was my first Dens Day, and I kind of was like, oh, it's just like a fundraising day. But seeing how into it all the teams get, we kind of decided to be way more creative this year and really try to be more intentional, but also just making sure that everyone knows us as well, and it's not just empty asks. So I think that's just building relationships with community and alumni and trying to do our best to just make sure people know why they're giving, how it affects, and it really it's a huge impact, and it's a huge day for the whole campus.
Have your players come up with some unique challenges people are going to
see? They have good ideas, but honestly, Carly and Destiny are very creative, and they are really good with just like little fundraising things that they think would be a good impact. So we're going to try those out, but definitely ask for assistance from the team members, because that's who everyone really wants to see.
So in other words, we're not going to see coach in net having balls slapped at her and things like that. No challenges that way.
No challenges that way. Carly, Destiny, and I all did 5th year, so we are like fully retired.
But at some point, if it comes down to it, you may have to put yourself out there.
Yeah,
Somebody dangles a check in front of you like that, right?
I'll pick up a stick, shoot a couple balls, but my days and goal are no, done.
What are the biggest needs for your program as we go into Dens Day?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing overall is a facility. We really would love to have a field turf for lacrosse, and that's huge for our program moving forward. And then next is just big things that are just over time changing. So we really want to add some, graphics and emblems to our building to really make it feel like home. And then uniforms, get ourselves some purple uniforms would be great. So those are kind of the big three that we're thinking would be our asks and where exactly it would be going.
Well, we will see what we shall see. I know on campuses all across the country, they're doing this at various times of the year, various days, but Dens Day has become quite the event here on campus, so we wanted to make sure we gave you an opportunity to highlight what's coming up with your program and how people can help it. And, of course, you go to FurmanPaladins.com, and all that information will be there about how you can donate to the athletic department in general or how you can specifically earmark that donation for women's lacrosse. And I think that's important for people to understand that if you want it to the lacrosse program, you have to make sure that when you go online to donate, you click the tab that specifically earmarks it for lacrosse.
Yes, and the website and links are very easy to use, but that is the biggest thing is just making sure if you are donating and you want it to go to a certain place, you just try to find the right tab for that.
And maybe you want to issue your own challenge.
Yes. You just want to see me in cage. That's what it feels like, Dan.
Well, I am just one who wants to do whatever it takes to help these programs succeed.
Well, okay. We'll take that.
And as long as it's at somebody else's expense and not mine, that's even better.
That's usually how it goes.
Exactly. I was born at night, but not last night. All right, so again, Wofford Wednesday, Saturday at PC, both of those on the road, and then the next week is the conference tournament,
Next week is conference tournament, and we do a host site as high as seed, which would most likely be Mercer unless there's some kind of update or upset. So we'll be back in Macon, Georgia again for a second time this year.
Well, we look forward to getting back here on Monday, talking about what that seating is, what that schedule looks like, and how things shook out on Dens Day. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, that is Kirkland Lewis. We have been in the Crease again on this Monday talking women's lacrosse. We'll be back again next week to continue looking ahead to the postseason and seeing how Dens Day wrapped up. For Kirkland and all of us at Furman, as always, I'm Dan Scott saying God bless you and so long, everybody.